Hey folks, how we doing? Welcome to today's Committee on Agriculture, Veterans, Broadband, and Rural Development for Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. We are now in session and quorum is present. Folks, today we got a really fun, busy day. As you can tell by the fact that we actually have an audience, which is a nice new development. We have lots of folks to talk about some really interesting, fascinating things. I am going to appeal to some degree of perspicacity, if we could, please. When you are testifying, if we could speak with some efficiency, given we got lots of people to hear from and lots of great things to hear about. Today's schedule will begin with Senate File 1220 by Senator Seeberger about the University of Minnesota Forever Green Initiative Money Transfer Program. And we'll also hear a little bit about CLC value chain grants. Then we will talk, Senator Kupec will present about the Agricultural Utilization and Research Institute appropriation, Senate File 3934. And then last, another Senator Kupec, 1178, transferal to the Agricultural Research, Education, Extension, and Technology Transfer Account. So first order of business is Senate File 1220. Senator Seeberger, if you would please get us started.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am pleased to be here on Senate File 1220, which, as you know, deals with my favorite thing ever, and I'm not being facetious, it's the Forever Green program. I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit, as are my testifiers, but I believe we have an amendment to discuss first.
Senator Kupec moves the A1 amendment. Senator Kupec, to your amendment?
Sure, I will talk about this. First of all, I want to thank Senator Seeberger for basically letting me tag along today on the A1 amendment. The A1 amendment is actually a bill that we have dropped, but has not quite made it through all of the hopper procedures in the revisor's office. So the bill is for an appropriation for the continuous living cover crops program. So that's what the A1 amendment is. Any questions about that? I'd be happy to talk about it.
Members, any discussion of the A1 amendment? Senator Seeberger?
This is a friendly amendment and talks about continuous living cover, which goes right along with the Forever Green initiative. It's an appropriate amendment.
Thank you, Senator Seeberger. Members, any other questions or discussion about the A1 amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, the A1 amendment is adopted. Senator Siebert to Senate File 1220 as amended.
Thank you. As I mentioned, this deals with the Forever Green program, one of my favorite things ever, which is a really cool program that is under the purview of the University of Minnesota to not only improve our soil health and our water quality, but also develop additional crops with an economic value for our farmers. I have a number of testifiers here who can talk a little bit about the Forever Green program. I know we've heard about it in the past, but I'm happy to be here again before this committee supporting it.
Thank you, Senator Seeberger. Dr. Hunter and Ms. Schwegel, if you would both please come to the desk. There you are. Dr. Hunter, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Chair Putnam and members of the committee, my name is Mitch Hunter, and I'm the co-director of the Forever Green Initiative at the University of Minnesota. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today, and thank you, Senator Seeberger, for authoring this bill. Forever Green is an innovation platform, and I think maybe, get the slides up. Thank you so much. Is an innovation platform developing and improving winter hardy, annual and perennial crops to help farmers keep the soil covered all year round, which we call continuous living cover. This can deliver a wide range of environmental benefits, including clean water, healthy soil, pollinator habitat, wildlife habitat, and climate resilience, while also giving farmers a new source of income. We advance this work with a unique approach that combines comprehensive R&D with support for farmer adoption, concerted market development, and cross-sector partnerships with farm groups, NGOs, businesses, agencies, and more. To give just one example of the potential impact, a recent analysis found that widespread adoption of continuous living cover could reduce nitrogen loss in Minnesota by 23% and soil erosion by 35%, while increasing on-farm net revenues by 20%. Now for an update on Forever Green, and there's only one place to start. While many of you know me now, you would be forgiven if you expected to see a certain long-haired, larger-than-life professor sitting in this seat. Tragically, we lost our co-founder, Dr. Don Wise, this past July due to a fall. At 77, he never lost his passion for this work, and we are forever grateful for his vision and his guiding spirit. He's still pointing the way forward. One of Don's proudest moments was 2 years ago when the legislature provided base funding for Forever Green through AGREETT. He had fought for that funding for over a decade. And fittingly, it enabled a smooth transition after he passed, since it provides stable support for my position. Sooner than we ever expected, I transitioned to become co-director along with our other co-founder, Dr. Nick Jordan, who's here today. These critical state funds have also allowed us to leverage philanthropic and federal dollars, including a recent $1.5 million grant to expand our market development efforts. Thank you, Senator Kupec, for including us in the AGREETT bill that will be heard later today so that this critical base support can continue. Now I want to give you a status update on our leading crops. We have great news related to the winter oilseeds, camelina and pennycress. Both of these species, as a little background, have the potential to be used as winter-hardy cash cover crops that can be planted between typical summer annuals like wheat, soybean, and corn over the winter. They protect the soil and can be made into renewable fuels, animal feed, and many other products. Over a year ago, we secured a $2.5 million philanthropic gift from Cargill to advance research on these crops. Last winter, we supported farmers to grow and harvest over 1,200 acres of winter camelina in Minnesota, the most ever, thanks to state support for our ECO program. Funded by the Clean Water Fund, this program helps farmers adopt 4 of our crops by providing environmental benefit and risk management payments, as well as direct technical assistance. Most of those 1,200 acres were grown under contract with Cargill, which crushed the grain at their West Fargo plant. A portion of the resulting oil was then refined into aviation fuel and used to propel jets out of MSP Airport, a major first. Jeff Davidman of Delta Airlines will tell you more in a few minutes. State funding is also positioning us to go after larger federal funding. We were selected for a $10 million grant from the Department of Energy to advance our research in winter oilseeds. And though this grant is currently on pause as far as our communication with the agency while we await guidance from DOE, we are moving rapidly to chart the path to 1 million acres of winter oilseeds, an in-depth analysis that will lay out the critical barriers that must be addressed to enable rapid scaling. Now on to kernza, perennial grain, a perennial grass with incredibly thick and deep roots that largely eliminate nitrate leaching and build soil carbon. This past year, the City Council in Hastings voted to plant kernza on 80 acres of city-owned land adjacent to their water treatment plant, which is likely to directly reduce nitrate loading in that plant. Kernza can be harvested for 3 years without replanting, and the grain can be used to make baked goods, beer, whiskey, and many other products. And in fact, I think that the pages have a bag of kernza muffins that this would be an excellent time for them to pass out, if you don't mind.
Well played, sir.
Hat tip to Ann Kirby. Thank you, Ann. After a couple of challenging years in the kernza market, our partners are now actively looking for more organic farmers to plant kernza. That's driven by demand by companies including General Mills and Patagonia Provisions. The non-organic kernza market is still working to gain traction, but there are hopeful developments, including a national perennial percent campaign that was inspired by local Minnesota businesses and other efforts you'll hear about today. Our research and development efforts are also making continued progress. This summer, we will release a new variety of kernza that has improved yield, improved seed size, and improved threshability, and there are more varieties even better coming in the pipeline. Overall, our crops are on a growth trajectory. Last winter, we hit a cumulative total of 3,000 acres in our ECO program. That was over 3 years. This winter alone, we're going to double that. We have 3,700 acres enrolled this winter alone. So really rapid growth relative to this fairly new program. But we do not just develop new crops. We also develop new scientists, including graduate students and postdocs, some of whom are here in the room today. Raise your hands, everybody. Thank you for coming. These are the future leaders in agriculture who in many cases came to Minnesota because of Forever Green. So to speak directly to this bill and shortly wrap up, while I recognize that the committee's budget is likely to be very limited this session, I want to give you a few examples of what additional funding for Forever Green would achieve. First, it would allow us to bolster research teams that are operating on a shoestring, like the winter camelina breeders who are trying to launch a whole new industry with fairly minimal funding. Second, it would allow us to be more nimble and strategic. We just need, we have all of our funds fully allocated. We need some additional flexible funds that can address challenges and opportunities as they emerge. Third, it would allow us to better support farmers by expanding our technical and financial assistance. And finally, additional funding would allow us to chip away at some of our most urgent needs for research equipment and infrastructure. All told, additional funding would allow us to develop new crops for farmers faster and more effectively, and to deliver greater benefits for water quality, soil health, and beyond. Based on our track record, it is highly likely that we will be able to leverage these state dollars many times over. And though I'm here asking for state funding, I want to make it clear that ultimately, forever green crops are a market-based solution. Our vision is that we will spawn new self-sustaining industries. But public support is still needed to achieve that vision. Research at the U was critical to the development of hybrid corn, soybean, wheat, and many other crops. Forever green crops are the next generation. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you much, Dr. Hunter. Members, any initial questions for Dr. Hunter? Senator Kunish with a full mouth.
To finish chewing. Those are delicious. I don't know who baked them. I don't know that I've ever had this grain, so is it a grain?
It is.
It is grain. So very good with our state blueberries in it, I'm sure. You mentioned a number of grants that are managed or provided by the federal government. I think you said there was a $1.5 million federal grant and a $10 million grant. Are any of those at this time affected by what's going on at the federal level?
Dr. Hunter.
Chair and member, thank you. So, yes, they are. The 1.5 is actually philanthropic. The $10 million grant for the oil seeds is in the what's called the award negotiation phase, and we are no longer receiving communication from the Department of Energy. I don't believe that we've been singled out within the program. I imagine that all the other grants within this program are being treated the same way. I have no evidence that we're being singled out relative to the whole agency, the whole department. All I know is that we are no longer in communication. So we're waiting to see. We remain hopeful. You know, this is focused on winter oil seeds, which are a way of growing our own energy, building energy independence, creating economic opportunities for farmers. So to me, those are bipartisan values, and I would hope that the research can continue on that front. You know, much more broadly, the whole university in every department across a wide range of programs has benefited from and in many ways is dependent on federal support. So we are one part of a bigger story, I would say. And we're just waiting to see how this will impact us and how this will impact the rest of the university.
Senator Kunish, follow-up?
And I'm sure you're not the financial guru, but like, how would it affect you, you know, your program financially, the university financially, and then farmers financially if this grant or other grants similar to that did not come down from the federal government?
Dr. Hunter.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the question. The most immediate impact would be that our efforts to accelerate the research, to innovate, create new varieties of winter camelina, of pennycress, of kerns, of all these crops, new guidance for farmers to help them grow these crops most effectively, translating that information, you know, in field days, in extension publications, really practical stuff at the end of the day, and also our ability to partner with some of our private sector partners to advance these industries. All of that slows down substantially. And, you know, I don't want to speak broadly beyond the impact on Forever Green directly, but where it would hurt us is that we believe in this mission. We're trying to do really practical research that makes a big difference in the world. Ultimately, potentially on the scale of millions of acres, and in a way that addresses a lot of very urgent challenges in our world right now.
Yeah.
Nitrate crisis, soil degradation. We need to get carbon out of the atmosphere and into the soil, not just for climate change, but also for being able to grow food for the next 100, 200, 300 years and beyond. And so it would just be pretty heartbreaking to see progress on all of that slow down. And right now, we're continuing to move ahead as rapidly as we can. We still have big ambitions, and we're just going to try to pursue those in whatever environment transpires and unfolds.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions for Dr. Hunter? I thought that we would pause here and ask questions of Dr. Hunter since he's sort of most intimately connected to the bill and the work that they're doing. Thank you, Dr. Hunter. Ms. Schwebel, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Sure. Chair Putnam and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to be here. For the record, my name is Ann Schwegel. I'm a farmer in Browns Valley, Minnesota in Big Stone County. We run a diversified grain farm where we raise corn, soybeans, wheat, and winter camelina. We now farm 585 acres that we own and rent, and we still feel small for this type of production in our area of the state. So on our farm, we're always looking for ways to remain resilient, creative, and stay competitive. I'm also honored to serve as the Vice President of Minnesota Farmers Union, a grassroots membership-driven organization that has represented family farmers like myself since we were founded in 1918. From both my personal experience and on behalf of Minnesota Farmers Union, I'd like to show our support for Senator Seeberger's bill, Senate File 1220, supporting the University of Minnesota Forever Green Initiative. 2025 will mark my third growing season raising winter camelina, one of the crops developed by the Forever Green. We plant this winter oil seed for a few reasons. First, this crop allows us to keep our soil continuously covered throughout the year, protecting our soil from water and wind erosion over our harsh Minnesota winters and springs. We don't want to lose our soil, and a third crop, or traditional cover crops, which we also employ, help to keep ours in place. Second, this is another crop that we can market to help our farm cash flow and support our family. The camelina on my farm is crushed, and the oil from that is refined and used locally at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport as sustainable aviation fuel, a drop-in replacement for petroleum-based jet fuels. We feel like this is a win-win-win opportunity. We've got a new market and are improving our farm's economic opportunities. We're protecting the environment, enhancing biodiversity, and we're helping to lower the carbon intensity of a difficult to decarbonize sector of the transportation industry. To close, as a Minnesotan and as a farmer, I'm excited to see our state lead in the development of novel crops and production systems that can enhance farm profits by providing new markets for family farmers to sell into, creating resilience on the farm, and enhancing rural communities. For our farm, these are another tool in the toolbox for us to use as we seek to meet our farm's financial and conservation goals. Thank you, Senator Seeberger, for your leadership on this issue. Thank you, Chair Putnam, for the time. I'm happy to stand for questions.
So, Ms. Schwegel, when we visited your farm about a year and a half ago, something like that, thanks for that, first off. But secondly, I recall us talking a little bit about some of the challenges you had with processing organic kernza. Does that remain a concern? Is there anything we can do to help?
Sure. Processing kernza has remained a challenge. I think that's, Chair Putnam, thank you for the question. As Dr. Hunter alluded to, the organic market has seemed to be starting to take off. I'm excited about that. Our farm happens to not be organic anymore. So we are watching as the conventional market continues to develop. We don't actively have any kernza on our farm right now, but certainly it's something that we're keeping an eye on, and as that market develops, I think we'll look at it as another opportunity for our operation.
Awesome. Thanks. Members, any questions? Okay. Thanks very much, Ms. Schwegel.
Thank you.
If we could have Mr. Bowditch and Mr. Jones please come on up and take a seat. Mr. Bowditch, if you'd like to start off, if you could please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chairman Putnam. Chairman Putnam and members of the committee, my name is Ben Bowditch. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I'm the Associate Category Manager at General Mills, and I source natural and organic materials for them. General Mills is a major packaged food manufacturer founded in Minnesota over 150 years ago. The health of our business depends on the health of the planet and well-being of farmers. That is why we are on a mission to ensure thriving farmers, communities, and planetary health. We have sought to lead the food industry in research and action for the regeneration of our agricultural systems, which is why I'm here today to strongly support legislation to increase funding for the University of Minnesota's Forever Green initiative. This funding will help improve Kernza genetically, develop better on-farm management practices, drive advances in food science, and ultimately grow and stabilize the Kernza market. We have contributed $1 million through philanthropic giving to Forever Green and have made significant commercial investments to make and market products with Kernza, including Cascadium Farm Kernza cereal, which there are a few boxes I brought for you all today. General Mills is deeply committed to increasing the use of Kernza in our products. Our Project Fescue initiative, a phased approach starting with the integration of 1% organic Kernza flour into select Cascadian Farm cereals, will soon expand Kernza's presence beyond our existing Climate Smart cereal. This strategic move, poised to reach over 11,000 stores nationwide, is projected to result in a 238% increase in Kernza usage from fiscal year 2025 to fiscal year 2026. This substantial projected growth, coupled with our ongoing efforts to secure a stable Kernza supply, positions us further expansion and contributions to a more sustainable food system. We are confident that this phased expansion will not only meet the consumer demand, but also accelerate the adoption of this innovative and environmentally beneficial grain. We strongly support legislation to fully fund the Forever Green initiative and look forward to working with the University of Minnesota to make our state the global leader in developing more sustainable, profitable, and diversified cropping systems that improve habitat, water quality, climate, and soil health while boosting our agricultural economy. Chairman Putnam, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bowditch. I'm going to make an executive decision and wield my power as chair right now and say that we're going to be talking about Forever Green every day for the rest of session because we get snacks. Thank you, Mr. Bowditch. Mr.
Fine
Jones.
with me, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Jones, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr.
State your full name for
Chair.
the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow members. My name is Dominic Jones. I'm manager of the Red Rock Rural Water System located in Jeffers, Minnesota. We serve parts of 9 counties with potable water delivered to our farmers and producers throughout that area. We currently have about 3,000 individual members, but also we've furnished about 15 communities with their drinking water as well. So we are a very broad system. Our number one priority is water and good quality water. Our system is currently meeting all the needs of nitrate levels. We haven't had much of that, but I formally and positively will endorse the Forever Green project as it gives us alternatives in our drinking water source management areas as prescribed by the Department of Health. That is what we are looking for, and for the help, is to keep nitrogen out of our water supplies. Water supplies in southwest Minnesota are hard to find, good quality water sources. And so we want to protect, and our number one priority in our system is to protect our water sources. This will help with the Kernza grass initiatives and the development of that we can plant on our well fields without the worry and of other items entering our system. The living cover crops are another good example of that. And I do believe that water quality is changing and will continue to change with the development of these products. And I fully support Forever Green initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Members, any questions for Mr. Jones or Mr. Bowditch? Thanks very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mr. David, are you, where are you? There you are. Mr. David, if you would, please. Come on down and state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members, for the opportunity to testify today. For the record, my name is Jeff Davidman with Delta Airlines. I did not realize snacks were allowed, Mr. Chair. I would have brought Biscoff cookies, and so hopefully I'll get an invitation back at a later date now that I know that that's allowed. This is actually the second time this week that I've testified before an agriculture committee, and I have to say, my 20 years in the airline industry, that is a first for me. However, it's amazing where the issue of sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF, has taken me over the past 2 years. And so it's a real pleasure to be here today to support Senate File 1220. Aviation is a hard to decarbonize industry, as you've heard today. Unlike other forms of transportation, there aren't electric planes expected in our industry at any time in the next 70 years. But Delta has still made a commitment to get to net zero by 2050. Now, although there's a lot of things we can do on the ground, 90% of our carbon footprint is what takes place in the air. And the best tool that we have as an industry and a Delta at our disposal to be able to reach that net zero goal is SAF. In fact, we believe that SAF will make up over 60% of our efforts to get to our net zero goal. But in addition to the climate opportunities, SAF also provides significant opportunities to enhance our country's energy independence and spur significant economic development opportunities throughout Minnesota by using Minnesota feedstocks and Minnesota production of the fuel. In order for a fuel to be classified as SAF as background, it has to have a minimum of a 50% greenhouse gas emission reduction versus traditional conventional jet fuel. Some feedstocks even have up to an 80% reduction. The good news is that here in Minnesota, it's home to many of the feedstocks that can be used to make SAF, including corn, soybeans, cover crops like winter camelina, municipal solid waste, forestry waste, clean hydrogen, and even more. And we're going to be using it all as we work towards our goals. The problem is that at present, there just isn't enough production of SAF to fuel the world's airlines for even 1 week. And this is not just a U.S. airline goal. This is really a global initiative around the country, around the world, of all the airlines. But to give you some numbers, the U.S. airline industry alone uses about 30 billion gallons of conventional jet fuel every single year. And we as an industry have made a commitment to replace 10% of our conventional jet fuel that the industry uses with SAF by 2030, which is about 3 billion gallons. Problem is, in 2024, only 370 million gallons of SAF were made in the world. So we would need to get to 3 billion gallons just for the U.S. by 2030. Only about 370 million gallons were produced in the world last year. But thanks to the Minnesota legislature and the bipartisan support in 2023 and Governor Walz, the state of Minnesota passed a SAF tax credit that really has put Minnesota in a position to lead in the development of the SAF industry, not just in the region as I talked about, but globally. The Minnesota SAF tax credit led to the launching of the Minnesota SAF Hub, a first of its kind public-private partnership aimed towards building the value chain to scale the SAF economy from farm to plane, all right here in Minnesota. We can use Minnesota feedstock, produce fuel in Minnesota, and use it in Minnesota airplanes departing Minnesota airports. The Minnesota SAF Hub has a goal to produce 100 million gallons of SAF in Minnesota before 2030, and an additional 100 million gallons of SAF from regenerative crops like winter camelina in the following decades. One of the many values of the Minnesota SAF Hub is that it's bringing together the entire value chain, from farm to plane and everything in between, to figure out how to build a SAF economy right here in Minnesota to be able to scale SAF in order to reach our 2030 goals, as well as the goals around the world. It's through these discussions with the Minnesota SAF Hub that we were connected with Forever Green at the University of Minnesota, and opportunities and prospects for winter camelina as a feedstock for SAF. The initial conversation led to a large group from Delta coming up from Atlanta and the Minnesota SAF Hub touring Forever Green's fields and crops in St. Paul with the aforementioned Don Wise. Looking at their crops, including winter camelina, and then we moved inside and we had a 2-hour meeting in a classroom to ask a lot of questions and learn a lot more, and then numerous conversations after that. But the end result is that Delta successfully flew its first flight with SAF from MSP in September of 2024, and we used Minnesota-grown winter camelina for that first flight, proving that winter camelina could be one of the feedstocks that we use going forward to scale this industry. Although we know it works, it's actually similar to SAF, is that one big challenge with winter camelina is scale. Last year, there were just 2,000 acres of winter camelina planted in Minnesota and North Dakota. That's why the Minnesota SAF Hub is pleased to be partnering with Forever Green and Embold to undertake a 1 million acre study. This study will look at what we need to do to get 1 million acres of winter camelina cultivated in the state. Thanks to the work of Governor Walz, the Minnesota legislature, the SAF Hub, and the entire value chain, Minnesota has positioned itself as a global leader in the development of SAF. The innovative work being done by the Forever Green and others throughout the state is going to be critical for us to achieve our goals. And I thank you for your support and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. David. You know, just a couple days ago, I was in a conversation with someone about SAF, and they mentioned something about how airlines choose which hubs to fly into, sometimes based on carbon footprint and their capacity to refuel. And the suggestion was that if Minnesota becomes a leader in SAF, we will actually draw new airlines to our airports. Is that true? And if so, how cool is that?
You mean, how cool is it that airlines other than Delta are coming to Minnesota? You have to think about that for a second. But I will just say this, Mr. Chair and members. Delta has made a commitment that we want MSP to be the very first airport in the world where we can say every single airplane that departs MSP has some level of SAF on it. And that's what we're working towards. And I say that when I'm in other states as well.
Thank you, Mr. David. Members, any questions or comments for Mr. David? Senator Kupec.
You know I wasn't going to miss an opportunity to talk about sustainable aviation fuel, right? Being from Moorhead. So this is maybe just a little bit off the bill topic here, but what do you think, what's the next hurdle that we have to clear for SAF going forward?
Well, Mr. David.
Mr. Chair and Senator, thanks for the question. You know, we're so young in the industry. There's a lot of things on the horizon that we're going to have to tackle as we go. I'm really appreciative of the support for the SAF initiative and bipartisan support in the legislature. I know there's some various policy bills moving through, so certainly continuing that momentum, because in Minnesota, we're leading. And when I say that, we're not just leading in the U.S., we're really leading globally. But other states have done something similar since Minnesota took action. So we know Illinois and Washington and Nebraska have all passed similar legislation, and Colorado has as well, and there's other bills around the country. So we need Minnesota to continue its momentum that it started in 2023. I think one of the biggest issues is getting a lot of these projects, similar to the one that's been announced in your district, Senator, you know, off the whiteboard and shovels in the ground and starting getting built from a capacity standpoint. And what we're really excited, you know, as one of the largest airlines in the world, we get a lot of opportunities to look at SAF projects across the world. And we can honestly say, and I've heard our CEO say it here in Minnesota, so I know it's true, is that Minnesota is the one place where things aren't just being talked about. It's not just a PowerPoint concept. We're actually doing things. So when you think about in 2024, we announced the creation of a blending facility where we're going to be able to blend SAF with conventional jet fuel. There's only 2 other in the country that have that. We did fly our first flight from MSP in 2024. We did have our first facility announced in the state. So we're actually doing things in Minnesota, and that really started with the initiatives and the steps that the legislature and the governor took in 2023. We just need to keep that momentum going.
Members, any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. David. Just we're about to transition from Forever Green and SAF to CLC value chains, but Mr. Davidman and Dr. Hunter, I hope you know how deeply committed the Senate Agriculture Committee is to Forever Green and to SAF as a project. So our next testifier is Ms. Shute and actually Mr. Penner. If both of you could please come up to the table and have a seat. Ms. Shute, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Chair Putnam and members of the committee, thank you for having me to testify today. My name is Catherine Chute, and I'm the Product and Market Development Specialist at the Forever Green Initiative at the University of Minnesota. I should say at the start, it's great to see the pages in the background here. I was a page in the Minnesota House in 2019 with Senator Knish.
Yes, you were.
And I delivered bills to the Senate, so it's cool to be back here on this side. Today, I work daily to promote market opportunities for Forever Green's winter annual and perennial crops. Strong demand enables farmers to plant these novel crops, which in turn creates positive economic outcomes for our rural communities and expands the amount of land in continuous living cover. The Developing Markets for CLC Crops program, which we're talking about today, supports continuous living cover crops by providing grants of up to $50,000 administered through MDA. Since 2023, there have been 3 RFP rounds, and this program has supported a wide range of CLC crop chain, value chain innovations, such as hazelnut harvesting equipment, winter camelina cleaning and storage systems, improvements to kernza manufacturing and marketing, and studies on elderberry processing as just a few examples of the program. Thank you for your support so far. I'd like to provide more detail about the need for ongoing support for this program. One of the most challenging aspects of commercializing a new food or feed ingredient is fine-tuning the harvest, cleaning, manufacturing, and marketing stages of the value chain. Existing equipment is rarely built to the unique specifications of a novel crop, and improvements are necessary from year to year. As you've heard from some testifiers today, Minnesota has talented and dedicated leaders who are working on these challenges. But at the same time, the state has an important role to play as a catalyst. Continued capital infusion through this program is absolutely critical to the success of these leaders. Without this grant funding, CLC crop pioneers are limited by inefficient systems. With the grant funds, the value chain ceases to be a pain point, and leaders can focus on growing sales and thereby accelerating the associated benefits to water quality and to communities. A new round of funding would help to address the ongoing challenges in the CLC value chain, for example, to expand regional processing infrastructure to cover the salary of an entrepreneur to bring hazelnut agroforestry to new audiences. Others speaking today will share even more detail about what this grant could do. So I ask the committee to favorably consider Senator Kupec's provision and to make continued investments in the long-term sustainability and resilience of Minnesota's regional agricultural value chains. Thank you for the opportunity today and for all that you do for the state, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Shute. Any questions for the testifier? Ms. Kunish, Senator Kunish. Sorry.
That's okay, thank you. So do tell us, did your time in the Minnesota House influence where you are right now and doing the work that you are doing?
Ms. Shute, and also maybe perhaps you can comment on how much it's better to be in the Senate.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kunish, absolutely. It has taught me a great deal about our state, and I've enjoyed seeing how the state system functions, and coming to the Senate building is always a pleasure.
Well responded. Thank you very much. And it's so nice to see you again.
Likewise.
Ms. Shute. Our next testifier will be online. Ms. Christofori, if you could please turn on your camera, unmute yourself, state your full name for the record, and commence your testimony when you're ready. Please.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Sounds great.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and fellow members of the committee. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today, but thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Diane Christopher, for the record, and I am here to support the Continuous Living Cover Value Chain Development Program. I speak as the Executive Director of Regenerative Agriculture Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization headquartered in Northfield, Minnesota. Our focus is on scaling a farmer-driven agroforestry model centered on chickens. This means in Minnesota that farmers are raising chickens underneath a canopy of native species. This includes elderberries and hazelnuts, which are both part of the Continuous Living Cover cropping systems. Regen Ag Alliance is an ecosystem management organization. This means we oversee value chain coordination, and we support the adoption of these cropping strategies through research and development, providing farmer training and technical assistance, and the incubation of enterprises directly connected to the regenerative poultry model. This value chain development program has been critical in showcasing the importance of investing in the middle of the supply chain infrastructure and supporting early stage adoption strategies that benefit farmers directly. I can say through the coalitions that I'm a part of at the national level that I oftentimes reference this program as an example of how we can coalesce and really truly support the early stage adoption of these practices and directly support farmers. It's been an example and model that other folks are looking to, and I commend Minnesota on this innovative program. Throughout this program, Regen Ag Alliance has been fortunate to be able to support the innovation and the construction of 2 hazelnut dehuskers. They are now available to growers throughout Minnesota, as well as we have partnered with the American Hazelnut Company to support growers in their network to be able to access this very important quality control step at no cost to the farmers. Additionally, 3,000 improved hazelnut seedlings were purchased from the Upper Midwest Hazelnut Development Initiative, and then they've been distributed to 10 farms that are actively deploying the regenerative poultry model here in Minnesota. As we see the poultry-centered regenerative agroforestry movement continue to scale, there will be sequential needs to prototype equipment such as the dehusker for our regional food system and to educate consumers about the environmental, social, and economic benefits that are inherent to continuous living cover cropping systems. Of course, as well, to promote and educate about the farmers and food businesses leading the way. I thank you for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions you have for me today.
Thank you, Ms. Christopher. Any questions or comments for Ms. Christopher? Members? Okay. Mr. Penner, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Putnam and members of the committee for the opportunity to testify in strong support of the Continuous Living Cover Value Chain grants. My name is Ben Penner, and I'm a winter camelina grower and custom operator from Mankato. I also grow Kernza and have been heavily involved in the supply chain development work for continuous living cover crops since 2019 and with the Perennial Promise Growers Cooperative. Last September, I watched the first ever Delta flight fueled by sustainable aviation fuel known as SAF, powered by winter camelina that I helped grow, take off from the runway viewing area at Terminal 1 at MSP Airport and our new sustainable aviation fuel hub. The plane was on its way to New York during Climate Week, and some of the fuel was grown right here in Minnesota. I was there with Twin Cities corporate leaders and as part of a coalition to develop the new supply chains for this important new feedstock and fuel source. This first flight represents an enormous new economic and agronomic opportunity for Minnesota farmers. We have the opportunity together to provide a new feedstock grown right here in Minnesota to supply the billions of gallons of sustainable aviation fuel that the industry is calling for in the coming years, and grow millions of acres of environmentally friendly and low carbon crops on our world-class soils. The market is there, we simply need to fill it. If we get this right and develop the industries here in Minnesota to complete the loop from the soil to the growers, to our communities, to the industries, and to the global aviation industry, then the sky's the limit for how much of a positive economic and environmental impact we can have right here in our state. To get there, we need to support and fund entrepreneurs, existing industry, farmers, and supply chain networks to meet this strong demand and to transform winter camelina and other oilseed crops as a sustainable fuel source for the future. We can do it, and I ask for your help to get us from here to there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penner. Any questions or comments from members? Thanks very much, folks. Up next, if we could have Mr. Novotny and Mr. Stennis please come up to the table. Mr. Novotny, if you could please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Mr. Chair and members, I'm Paul Novotny from Chatfield, where my brother and I run a third-generation truck company and a cold storage business. I also farm 1,500 acres around Chatfield, and I've been on the Chatfield City Council and the EDA for 20-plus years in Chatfield. In 2016, so where it started for me, the city water department staff introduced us at the city to Jake Jungers, introducing us to a Forever Green pilot program to grow Kernza. The city and I both had farmland inside our drinking water management area, so we chose to plant 10 acres. During that 3-year pilot, A lot was learned about the possibilities of what long-rooted Kernza could do, but also exposed the challenges during and after harvest. I have a big full cart of Kernza, and now what? I grew it, I have people that want it, but storage options and cleaners and a way to transport weren't very available. There was very little supply chain support then. Now with some funding, a lot of sweat equity, we have a co-op to help with Kernza and eventually other new crops. So 4 years ago, I also started planting winter camelina, which was for the most part successful. But again, the supply chain was a major hurdle, and that headwind has been that headwind for some growers in my area. The ECO program has been a big part in backstopping the financial risk of trying to grow these new crops, and I've had crop failure along with my successes. Last year, I was awarded a $50,000 grant to help purchase a seed cleaner and open a storage facility, possibly the only one in the state at this time. Having this available increased camelina plantings in my area last year by 140 acres. I also chose to upgrade the unit so it is self-contained and mobile so that it could service multiple sites if needed. But to put it in context, it took about $150,000 to bring the site online. The seed cleaner alone cost in excess of $100,000. It is my opinion, continued investment into the new crop development and increased funding into the supply chain development is needed to build on the current successes. Also wearing my city hat, continued investment now into scalable new crops in the food, fuel, and cover crop arenas that give farmers like me an option to diversify and also protect our drinking water is well worth the investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Novani. Members, any questions or comments? Thank you. Mr. Stennis, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Chair Putnam, members, thank you. My name is David Stennis, and had I known that fun things were possible, I would have brought beer and whiskey, but I didn't think that was appropriate.
Sir, fun is always possible in the Senate Ag Committee.
Mr. Chair, we could
move for a recess.
I'm thankful to be welcomed back again next time. Thanks in advance. My name is David Stennis. I'm the founder of Minnesota-based Arcola Group, online at arcolafarms.com. We are grateful to be at the forefront of regenerative perennial agriculture as a food solution. As we have developed, we saw the need and opportunity to elevate Kernza innovation to create the infrastructure for the next chapters of this vital crop. We have taken bold steps to invest and research to bring scale to Kernza and perennial crops commercialization in Minnesota. With all the hard work done by all these great people and organizations around me, and with the support from you and your colleagues, Kernza is poised for scale and growth. Starting from the ground up, one of our key innovations came in grain harvest processing and consolidated storage. As a result, we have lowered the Kernza processing cost significantly. That's a key component for efficiency, scale, and a lower cost product in the marketplace. Beer and distilling are two of the primary things Kernza has been known for, and our beer and whiskey collaborations bring a dozen new products, including Minnesota's own fresh, crisp Kernza lager, which I'll bring next time. In premium whiskey, our Kernza is aging in barrels at a growing list of Minnesota and Wisconsin distilleries now, aging for 3 years for the 100% Kernza whiskey that's coming. Beverages are fun, and it helps make Kernza a household name, but it's the nutrient-packed, high-fiber, high-protein, sustainable food source that we saw as vital for what comes next for us. With co-exclusive seed rights from the University of Minnesota for Evergreen, we have taken the next significant step to begin to scale Kernza acres, to grow and consolidate the grain supply, to develop markets, and expand the Arcola farmer-grower network. This past fall, we offered contracts to farmers in Minnesota and nearby states to produce Kernza for us. A key focus for us is with Kernza as a mainstream food source for daily use and for the health benefits of unprocessed foods for our kids. So many kids don't eat well outside of school. Hunger is an issue. Kernza is one of the solutions. Last week, we began the Minnesota Kernza Farm to Schools initiative. On Thursday, all 27,000 kids in all 65 Minneapolis public schools had Kernza and brown rice pilaf for lunch. It was an incredible experience to go and watch it happen and have lunch with the kids at Keywade and Nokomis Elementary School. We are working with longtime Kearns advocate and James Beard award-winning cookbook author, who's here in the room, Chef Beth Dooley. Thank you, Beth. And with Minneapolis Public Schools on a full list of simple-to-prepare recipes for breakfast and lunch. Healthy foods for kids statewide is important work. We started our work here in Minnesota, but we also operate in the global context. 3 weeks ago, on January 18th, many of you know that the World Food Prize Foundation issued an urgent call to action to transform our food system for leaps in food production for our growing population. This line appeared in the action letter, and I quote, "Building on recent advancements, moonshot initiatives include transformation of annual to perennial crops, development of new and overlooked crops, and innovations in diverse cropping systems." That phrase validates 10 years of hard work by the awesome leaders in this room. We see that as a pivot to jobs creation, to new business opportunities in Minnesota, and to rural community development. The paradigm shift to create more healthy, local, and regional food solutions allows us to grow regenerative perennial grains at scale, to sequester carbon at scale, and protect our water. Next steps for us involve Arcola's need, as has been shown today, for dedicated Kernza grain processing and handling. That efficient infrastructure doesn't yet exist. This MDA program and new public-private partnerships will help support us in doing it and escalate Minnesota on the perennial crops stage. The legislation to extend MDA's Developing Markets for CLC Crops program today is important. Commitment to that collaboration is vital. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Stennis. And thank you, Chef Dooley, for being here again and for feeding us when Senator Seeberger, Kupec, and myself visited Forever Green a while back. Members, do we have questions or comments for either of these testifiers or for Senator Seeberger on the bill itself? Seeing none, Senator Seeberger, do you have any Senator Westrom.
Debating about this, but maybe it was brought up, but this just reminds me of is it Don Weiss, I think was his last name. And if I'm recalling correctly, I think he passed away last summer.
That's correct, Senator.
And I guess I mention it because I know he's been around here many, many, many years working on this initiative, and so I just make a shout out to his efforts, and fun to hear some of the progress being made and actually turning into muffins that can go to the consumption aisle. So just a thought while we're on this topic. I thought I'd mention it and remember all his contributions.
Thank you, Senator Westrom. That's appropriate and welcome. So members, seeing no, Senator Seeberger, any closing comments?
Mr. Chair, I'm blown away by the things that I've heard today when it comes to Forever Green and some of the cover crops that have been developed through the program. I'm really proud to sponsor this bill again, and happy to look forward to the great things coming in the future with continuous living cover and Forever Green.
Thank you, Senator Seeberger. Senate File 1220 as amended will be laid over for possible inclusion. Folks, our next order of business, Senator Kupec, Senate File 934, Agriculture Utilization Research Institute appropriation. Mr. Schlechter, Mr. Tripoldi, if you would please come up to the table and have a seat. You don't all have to leave. This is going to be fascinating.
Wow.
Don't take it personally, Senator Kupec.
No. Too late. It's already happened.
Senator Kupec, when you're ready, to your bill, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is this is kind of one of the best days, I think, in front of the Ag Committee, not just because we're getting snacks, but because today is the day where all the kind of really cool cutting edge ag stuff gets presented, the stuff that is putting Minnesota on the map and kind of making us a leader. So very fitting here that we have AURI here today. That's what this bill is about. AURI's mission is to accelerate the expansion of agriculture economy by empowering expanded uses and markets from agriculturally derived products. The Agricultural Utilization Research Institute, AURI, helps develop new uses for agricultural products through science, technology, partnering with business entrepreneurs to bring ideas to reality. AURI also works with many of Minnesota's underserved BIPOC communities. Organization efforts to support these communities have a significant social and economic equity impact throughout the state. I just want to kind of highlight a couple of programs that I find really kind of fun, and one of which is in my district, so I definitely want to highlight that. First one is not, though, USA Solutions down in St. Joseph, Minnesota. They have the compost AMAT. They're producers. They paying close attention to studies showing that hog operations that use their corn stalk-based mats have lower baby pig mortality rates than those using rubber mats. So just kind of another cool innovation, and also, one more way that we can grow those things in Minnesota and do that. The University of Minnesota Crookston student, Becky Johnson, she was an AURI-sponsored study, inventoried the Northwest Minnesota feedstock, animal waste, food processing leftovers, yard waste, and other feedstock that could potentially feed the region's anaerobic digesters, which produce methane and generate energy. This ties back into my district in Moorhead, where American Crystal Sugar has one of these digesters, but sugar beets, the factory closes down for about 3 months when all the beets are done, but by using the research that she's doing on other stocks, you can keep that anaerobic digester going through the whole year. So just one of those innovative ways that ties in. So enough of my blabbing about how great I think it is. These two here are much more experts and can enlighten you about the wonderful things that AURI does.
Thank you, Senator Kupec. Mr. Schlecht, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Shannon Schlecht. I'm the executive director at AURI, and it's a pleasure to be here today to talk about innovation and the really cool things that are happening in Minnesota agriculture, especially around the value-added side. I'm also pleased to have Federico Tripodi with me today. He's our chairman of the board, and I'm going to let Federico kick things off, and then we will dig into some examples and different projects that we've been working on to drive impact and new opportunities.
Mr. Tripodi, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. My name is Federico Tripodi. I'm the chair of the board of AURI. I'm also a small business owner, entrepreneur, and a former company executive. I have all my fun at AURI, though. Thanks for allowing AURI today to share what we're doing to contribute to the Minnesota agricultural economy. The board and staff at AURI refreshed our mission and vision statement over the past 2 years, which Senator Kupec just read for us. Our focus is helping accelerate the expansion of the agricultural economy, as we believe it's a growth engine for our state and provides significant sources of jobs, private capital investment, and sales. Our specific way in which we do this is by supporting all value-added agriculture through expanded uses and markets for any agriculturally derived product. This can include crops, livestock, value-added processing of byproducts, food, and other ingredients. Our North Star is to drive impact. We're aiming to have tangible results through the work that we do, and aiming to contribute $500 million in annual economic impact through the creation of jobs, investment, and sales through the end of our fiscal year 2026. And that's out of the roughly $4.4 million of support that we receive from the state every year. Over the last 30 years, we have contributed to our state, and our mission is even more important as we look into the future. Our state has critical needs to continue to support a thriving agricultural economy, promote local production that can substitute imports, and advance efforts to create new uses and markets for our state commodities amid an ever-changing global landscape. Our board of directors are volunteers that represent different state organizations from all corners of Minnesota and sectors of our agricultural value chains. The slide that you have in front of you includes our board members as of last fiscal year. We recently had John Schaefer retired after serving 9 years in our board and terming out, and Kent Hines recently joined our board. Our directors are highly engaged and driven by making a positive impact to Minnesotans and being good stewards of our state resources. I want to thank Senators Putnam, Dames, and Dornick for their past and current service in our board and all the support to our organization over the years. As described by statute, we have 2 general farm organizations represented in our board, 3 research and promotion council reps, 2 agribusinesses, 2 at-large, and 2 legislators. We meet at least 5 times a year and provide both strategic guidance and governance and oversight on fiscal and financial matters. Per statute, we are required to establish and maintain facilities to support Minnesota agriculture. We currently have 4 sites across Minnesota to support our product development and process improvements. In Crookston, we mainly have administrative offices today. In Marshall, we have an analytical laboratory, meat lab presence, bioindustrial analytical capabilities. In St. Paul, we have an office at the Food Science Department at the university. And in Waseca, we have our new opened and revamped Bioindustrial Innovation Center that was opened in 2024 and which Shannon will cover in more detail. We also have staff scattered across the whole state and support Minnesota entities and businesses. Shannon, our executive director, will share more about our programs and activities. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Federico. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'll talk about a few of the things we've been working on to drive new opportunities. First, I'll just start with our programs that we operate. First of all is commercialization services, which is really working with small and medium-sized businesses across Minnesota, producers to small business owners to cooperatives, and providing that technical and business assistance that they need to move a new product forward or to improve a process and to be more profitable and to really drive some new opportunities overall. I think our sweet sauce as an organization is really merging the 2 scientific needs and business needs of looking at what do they need to do from a product and process standpoint with our scientific work and our laboratory work, but then creating viable business models and teaming those up across their ideas and moving them forward. We have conversations with, dozens of businesses every week, which I think is also really intriguing in terms of connecting the dots of problems and solutions as we look at creating different partnerships with businesses across Minnesota as well. So it's our bread and butter, I would say, of the work that we do of really driving opportunities and impact for the state. Next is our public initiatives. And that is, every couple of years we talk to anywhere between 50 to 70 different organizations across Minnesota and try to understand what are the pain points, what are the needs, what are the commonalities. And then we develop initiatives where we use our scientists and our collaborators and different partners to look at how do we fill those information gaps and how do we look at new and emerging opportunities to de-risk those ideas and get businesses interested in them. And then finally, we have our AURI Connects program. And I think nobody wants to see good research sit on the shelf. And this is our platform to really put that information out there, to host some webinars, to host events, make sure that what we're doing gets out into the industry so that it can be actionable and tangible to move things forward. Just as a summary of the work that we've done over fiscal year 24, we opened and closed roughly 100 projects right during that time period, worked on a couple hundred. A lot of the projects don't fit neatly into 1 year, so that some have crossover and are longer in duration, while some are shorter in duration. We also hosted several events. You see 10 events here, where we had over 1,000 participants at those different events. And we also had views on our YouTube channel where we record everything, make things available hybrid, just to try to make sure that we're getting the information out to wherever it can be helpful. And then as Federico mentioned, it's really about driving impact. And I'm really proud of the work that our team does to really think about what's tangible, what's actionable, what do our businesses and supporters really need. And that helped drive about 187 million in new sales of egg-based product sales over the last year. So roughly a 45-to-1 return on the dollars that you invest into AURI on just driving new opportunities for agricultural-based products. We also helped de-risk about 87 million in new capital. So we helped businesses get comfortable with making those investments through the work that we did to look at the techno-economic feasibility and just how does that look going forward for them from a business standpoint. And the work helped create or retain 717 jobs, a lot of those in rural communities. We do that work across two big buckets of focus today. One is food, right? You just had some great examples of food, and we've appreciated the collaboration that we've had with Forever Green in terms of looking at these crops and new opportunities in products. But we see a lot of innovation, a lot of interest, and we have a very vibrant food ecosystem within the state. So our food scientists, we have a couple of food scientists, one in the metro area, one in Marshall. We have a meat scientist, we have a food business development director, and then a full suite of analytical capabilities to support the needs of our food entrepreneurs. And that ranges from everything of nutrition facts panels to shelf life stability to regulatory guidance to helping them get into school lunch programs, just all that input and advice to help them move their product from concept into the retail marketplace. So that could be, selling to a farmer's market, to retail, to scaling up that production to a regional opportunity, and to grocery stores and to retail outlets. We also help them a lot with their value proposition in terms of, what is the benefit and how do you position this in front of a consumer to help drive sales and new opportunities. We've had a lot of work in the local and regional meat processing area recently. We had a multi-year partnership with USDA Egg Marketing Service to look at how can we have a more resilient local and regional meat processing sector. So we looked at how do they become more bankable, just looking at what are the financial needs. We looked at co-product use in terms of what do we think of those secondary products in terms of new opportunities and what could we do at a smaller scale than our large meat processing plants to put those products into use. We created a resource map of the different funding opportunities that were available. We looked at cold storage constraints in rural areas. And the one that I'm really excited for is a benchmarking pilot. Our ethanol industry does a benchmarking about how do we learn from each other better and look at consolidating that data a little bit like FinBin for producers. We don't have anything like that for small meat processors today, and that's I think a really big opportunity for us for a small investment to really move that forward. Initiatives, really it's about making sure there's awareness of the resources that are available that we produce. There is co-manufacturing work that's going on in terms of how do we look from commercial kitchens to large scale. There's a gap in between there. What can we do from a business model and need to move that forward? And then just creating market summaries and new opportunities. One that I'm excited for, we dabbled into artificial intelligence this year as well. We curated a lot of information for food safety and food guidance for our food entrepreneurs that they were regularly asking for, and put that into an AI interface. So they now have access 24/7 to ask very complicated questions, and that will peruse all of that information that we've curated, give them very valid results, right, for them to take those next steps and be ready for future conversations. And finally, we don't do this in a vacuum. We have a lot of great collaborations with entities across the entire ecosystem, which, again, it's just such a great ecosystem to look at how do we advance our food opportunities. Just a few examples, Cannonbells down in Cannon Falls, they're a cheesemaker. If you haven't tried their cheese, I highly encourage it if you're looking for more snacks. They have a queso fresco that has won some awards, and they've got a great little coffee shop in Cannon Falls as well. Lightfield barbecue sauce, we help them on their regulatory guidance and scaling up the recipe formation for them to grow their business. And then I've mentioned the other ones there already. Our other big bucket is bioindustrials. And think of this as like I would say our dirty lab of the work that we do in terms of it's drying, it's dewatering, it's screw presses, it's densification, right? Digesting materials in terms of what's the potential there. And this is a lot of work on looking at co-product streams and waste streams in terms of what is the value that's left there. And then is there a new opportunity that we could help them valorize and create a revenue stream for their rural businesses? And that's everything from product development, right, to process improvements to analysis on those different products. We've got a hemp decorticator. I'll talk a little bit more about hemp here in a second. We have probably one of the most unique anaerobic digestion assets in the country in terms of large-scale digestion to look at renewable natural gas. And then we just do a lot of business assistance as well for companies. A few examples, we had LCCMR funding to work with MnDOT and MDA on a hemp erosion control project where we worked with MnDOT and had a test site out by Albertville of looking at how could industrial hemp replace jute that we import, as well as plastics and road construction erosion control mats and logs. That was a really interesting project to look at, like, how do we develop these markets for encouraging production, right, in terms of pulling things through the system. We also had a project with Stable Feed where they had all sorts of ingredients that they needed to fit into a pellet, right? And our team worked with them to see, could we actually create a pellet with these very disparate ingredients in terms of what was needed for a good nutrition for equine feed. And then the last one I'll mention here was a collaboration with Minnesota Soybean, and that was looking at what are some new uses for soybean meal as we look at new crush plants coming on and new meal entering the market. And we worked with a local company to put soybean meal up to 50% blend that replaced synthetic nitrogen for uses in higher value fertilizer markets such as ornamentals, right, golf courses, horticultural products, even lawns, right, and working with ag retailers and others to see what's the opportunity there for a more natural fertilizer to meet their nutrient needs. With your one-time funding that we received, we were able to do some really needed upgrades to our equipment that had been aging. So we've added a mass spectroscopy that allows us to look at very unique compounds within food and feed to better understand the anti-nutrients or, right, the different compounds that might have value for different food entrepreneurs or flavor profiles that we can really help them in their value proposition. We've added elemental analyzers and mineral analyzers looking at nitrogen, phosphorus, carbon, hydrogen, right, different elements that may have value as we look at nutrient recovery and putting things into a new use again. One of the most interesting machines that we have now is called a biomethane potential analyzer, or BMP. And you can really just put almost anything into that machine. It'll run for 2 weeks and it'll give you the optimal natural gas potential of those different feedstocks. So as you look at different waste streams of organic materials, we can get that first characterization of, is there an economically viable opportunity to look at anaerobic digestion? And then our new Bioindustrial Innovation Center that was mentioned earlier. We're really excited about this space. If you haven't been there, we invite you to come visit. This roughly tripled our size from a space standpoint to do work. So we're not moving things in and out of the garage doors all the time to do different projects. We're set up. It allows us for clients to bring their equipment in now as well, that we can work with them side by side on what they want to move forward and test their machines against some of our baseline equipment that we have there. We also have a meeting room, training room. It just really increases our capacity. And then we doubled the size of our food grade laboratory there as well, so we can do grinding, crushing of these new crops and new traits that you just heard about in the previous presentation. Finally, just a few testimonials. We had one from Stable Feed in terms of AURI is the partner no entrepreneur in the egg sector should be without, right, which was a great call out. And then one from B&T Meats in Waban, who opened a new meat processing center up by the Monoman area. And we just did a lot of work with them in terms of, right, what does the business model look like for them to be successful as they go forward? So those are just a couple of examples of the work that we do and the need, right, that we see from our small and medium-sized businesses. Our Connects program is really about just getting the word out, as I mentioned. We have 2 ongoing programs called Fields of Innovation and Webinar Wednesday, and then 2 single programs that we do once a year, one on new uses, and then one on renewable energy. Renewable energy for the fiscal year 24 is about hydrogen, and what is hydrogen's opportunity in agriculture. It was a really well-attended event, and I think just a lot of interest as we think through new opportunities, right, and carbon intensity and just the conversations that have been occurring for agriculture. Looking forward, 5 areas that we're really focused on going into the new year in terms of impact that we think that we can help drive with the resources that we have at AURI and the expertise. One is scale up food manufacturing. We see the need, it's been talked about for probably the 8 years since I've been at AURI in terms of we need regional assets to scale up our food entrepreneurs. right? So we're really focused on that and using some one-time money from the state last year to dig into that. Food ingredients, I think we look at emerging crops and new traits and new opportunities and cleaner labels. We're really focused on what our food scientists can do in that space. Bioindustrials, I've talked a lot about already, as well as co-product valorization. And then this whole renewable natural gas and anaerobic digestion. I think the American Biogas Council says Minnesota could be the 8th largest biogas producer with our biomass feedstocks that exist here, right? How do we continue to catalyze and move that forward as we look at those different feedstocks and the economic viability of that opportunity? And then we're doing several specific initiatives and just showcasing here how your one-time funds have really helped accelerate a lot of those impactful opportunities that we are exploring today. Finally, right, we are a small organization of 35 people, but we are scattered across the state, and I think we've got a really broad range of skills that we bring to the table, from business sense to scientific sense to food to bioindustrials. And we're proud of the work that we do with businesses around the entire state. As you can see from the map here, right, there's no place really that we don't touch in terms of driving some new opportunities. It's just been great to have this partnership with the state over roughly 35 years now of really looking at how can we continue to add value to the crops, to the agricultural dry products that are produced here. And I think there's a lot of many new exciting opportunities to come. So with that, I'll turn back, Mr. Chair, for questions, and a thank you to Senator Kupec for sponsoring the legislation today as well.
Thank you, Mr. Schlecht. Members, any questions or comments for our two testifiers? Senator Dames.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and it's not a question, but just wanted to thank AURI for all the work that you've done over the years. There's many, many products that you folks have helped bring to the marketplace with your research and things like that, so thank you very much for that and hope that that continues.
Members, any other questions or comments for our two testifiers? Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Mr. Peterson from the Farm Bureau Federation would like to testify to this issue as well. Mr. Peterson, if you could please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Putnam. Appreciate it. My name is Hunter Peterson. I am the Public Policy Specialist at Minnesota Farm Bureau Federation. On behalf of our 31,000 family farm and ranch members, I just wanted to get up here and express our support for AURI and the work they do. Our Vice President, Carolyn Olson, who raises organic grains and hogs in Lyon County, serves on the board of directors as the Secretary and Treasurer. And, you know, Mr. Chair, you and I this summer had the opportunity to see their Waseca facility, which was excellent, and visit with the staff and get to learn more about what they do, the great things they do to support agriculture, including the pelletizer and the anaerobic digester. And I think, too, you know, Mr. Schlecht highlighted some of their success stories and Cannonbells, which we also got to visit this past summer. Personally, I like the ghost pepper cheese, but that's just me. So, no, and to just kind of highlight, I think, the importance of value-added agriculture and the work that AURI does to that end. You know, I was at a overview this morning from the Rural Finance Authority, and we had a banker there from South Central Minnesota, who said just from corn and soybeans, he has yet to see a positive balance sheet this year. So I think looking for new avenues to make new products is really important. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to testify in support of this legislation, and I urge the committee's support.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. I promised myself I was not going to haze or tease you this time, but as soon as you started talking, Lauren got up and left. So perhaps there's some inter-Farm Bureau conversations you need to have. Members, any questions or comments for either Mr. Peterson or Senator Kupec, the author of the bill? Seeing none, thanks very much, gentlemen. Senator Kupec, do you have any final statements?
Sure, I'll just make one last comment. Speaking of Cannonbell cheese, I got to meet with them when they were at Farm Fest in the AURI tent, and what they said about how instrumental this program was for them to upscale into their cheese manufacturing was proof alone of why this is a good business success, that they were able to transition and make this, with the help of them to expand their business. It's a good Minnesota success story.
Thank you, Senator Kupec. Senate File 934 will be laid over for possible inclusion. All right, next order of business is Senate File 1178, the AGREETT account, Agriculture Research, Education, Extension, and Technology account. Folks, this is our last bill for the day. We have lots of people to hear from, and we only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to ask us to be as efficient as we possibly can, please. Senator Kupec, to the bill.
Sure, and I will heed that call, Mr. Chair, to be efficient. So just quickly, much of this bill will look familiar. It's a continuation of the successful AGREETT program, which provides so much of the research and education for farmers and the ag businesses rely on. There's money here to continue the Ag Experiment Station, Rapid Response Fund, provide research on the poultry disease that's bombarding our state, as well as funding for important crop breeding programs. Dollar for dollar, this program is one of the best returns on investment. All of the work that has been proven here in Minnesota by this program, economy, and also particularly in greater Minnesota. This bill maintains dollar amounts that we have passed in previous sessions. I'm proud to support that ongoing work. Today, I want to particularly focus on a piece of this bill which is new, and that is the funding for increasing to the Farm Business Management Challenge Grant. So that's kind of the new piece of this legislation, and I'll keep my comments short so testifiers have their time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kupec, Senator Kupec. Mr. Olander and Ms. LeBrun, if you would please come to the desk. Mr. Olander, if you would please state your name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Putnam, members. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today. My name is Keith Olander. I lead the Center of Excellence for Agriculture on the northern side of the state called AgCentric. I want to share just a little bit about farm business management. We thank Senator Putnam for leading this charge here today. Farm business management is 7 decades old, and sometimes we look at old programs, we're like, well, do they really serve their value anymore? And I think we're going to share a little bit about that. But the other side of that, when something is around that long, you find that it provides great value. Our students find that it has great value. I'm going to share a few comments around that. But also the state of Minnesota through FinBin and the database that comes out of that provides great value. The farmers rate the program with a high level of satisfaction. We serve ages 18 to 84. And if we could get some slides up on the screen, I'd appreciate it. About 30% of the producers that we have are beginning farmers or less than 10 years of experience. We operate through 7 colleges. There are 65 faculty that do this work, and we are all led then through the Centers of Excellence, which Tina and I have the opportunity to do so. Furthermore, on program uniqueness, just for background, farm business management occurs on the farm. It is a college-based program, but it is not in a common classroom that we would think of. This does pose a financial challenge for the colleges because it is on the one-on-one basis, but our students commonly request that that's the way it's going to be delivered. That being said, then it's always focused on the students' goals and what the family is about in terms of where they're going with the business. And then they use this tool called FinPack, which is a software that we use commonly across the state to build out FinBin. Furthermore, we serve 83 of the 87 counties that we've worked in. It's not that we don't work like the other 4 counties, just worked out that the analysis, and when we talk about analysis, that's that complete dollar in, dollar out, just weren't available in those 4 counties. But we do work across the state for that being. And the other side of this, I would give a shout out to the Department of Ag as they help us to mitigate access around those beginning farmers and keep this a geographically balanced program. Common subjects we would see is this accounting and record keeping. This big benchmarking, as alluded to earlier, there's not great balance sheets to look at. So then the question becomes, how bad is my balance sheet as it compares to my peers? And that's really a benefit, and some of our testimony will get to that part moving forward. One big factor that's coming into play in the farm country is inflation, as we are seeing the break-evens rise to levels we've never seen before. So the idea of what is break-even for a particular commodity, be it corn, beans, wheat, beef, whatever, is at a different place than what we've seen in decades past. And farm business management is a key to driving that. As far as value, we asked our students, what do you believe the value of the program is? In other words, if you were to ask to put a dollar amount on the reduced expenses or the increased income, they shot numbers out, but it comes in to be about $17,000 a year. We might say, well, that's a lot, but for perspective, that's about a 2% increase compared to their peers. And so that's significant when we start to look at what the dollars the producers say their value and its worth as we go forward. If we could proceed just forward on some slides so we can get a look at what the net farm income would be, right there to this particular page. I don't want to bore you with a lot of data, but we need to understand that the farm income for a farmer is never the same. Everything they do from year to year is different. Their management style has to be different. And a lot of this particular chart is driven by factors outside of their control. Weather, markets, regulation, et cetera, all drive this. So therefore, the management program has to always be different in delivery. And if we'll proceed forward in the slide, we'll just take a look very quickly at what it looks at. Again, let's advance forward. Thank you. And one more again. And I just put some particular circles on here to look at. If we're looking at 2014 to 2019, we're looking more at resilience. And what I'm getting at is you got a program that's been around a long time, but farmers really value it because the farmer has to change the management style based upon the economics and the situation they're in. And if we advance one more time and we look at what the downfall was, say from 2012 to 14, you'll also notice that's just what we experienced in the farming communities as we come from, say, 23 into 24 or 22 through 24. So there's a different skill set and a different management expertise that's there. And then finally, I would just advance one more time, that when we're in high profitability, there's things like Tina's going to talk about with farm transition that's critical, acquisition, or just that idea of tax management. These are all critical pieces of the program that are important for students and our farmers as we go forward. And again, as I go forward in slides, the other part of this is understanding the pressures the farm family works with. And our faculty are key to having a trusting relationship over time. But let's face it, life happens, and rural mental health is challenging. Farmers are challenged consistently, and this committee has been very supportive of this program, but also the program of rural mental health. And we're very fortunate to have two individuals funded through our legislature to be available then for our faculty and for our farm families. And so with that, Mr. Chair, I would wrap up my comments and yield for questions as you see fit.
Thank you, Mr. Olander. I have a quick question, if you don't mind. The median net farm income slides that you have, do you also have data that disarticulates that by size of farm?
Mr. Chair, yes, thank you for the question. We absolutely do. I would love to share if we had a little more time.
Some other day,
Yes.
but yeah, thank you. Members, any questions for Mr. Olander? Okay. Ms. LeBrun, if you would, please.
Yes.
State your full name for the record and commence testimony when you're ready.
Sure. Chair Putnam and members of the committee, thank you for your time, for giving me time today. My name, for the record, is Tina LeBrun, and I serve as the director of the Southern Center of Excellence. And most importantly, I've spent the past 16 years as an FBM instructor in Southern Minnesota. Although my role has evolved most recently, I've still served many farms across Southern Minnesota and even to parts of Wisconsin. What I want to focus on today is the good and the need that is coming from our Minnesota farms enrolled in Minnesota Farm Business Management education. We have found a model, and I'm hoping you get to my slides too. We found a model that works well here in Minnesota. As an instructor, you can work with 35 to 45 farms each annually. And this means you are on farm providing education in a real-time manner. The core of education is built by and through relationships. As I've been transitioning the past 16 months into the director role, I've seen firsthand that power of relationship, as it's hard to leave them. But what does that mean as an instructor? And so in that model you'll see on the screen, we have the instructor, we have the farmer student, and we have the college. And that's just so critical in the success of this model so far. So if you'd advance, what does it mean for an FBM instructor from a point of view? We're really expected to be an expert in advocating for the farmer. Instructors need support in the ever-changing agriculture environment because of the vast amount of knowledge they need to bring on farm. We have financial literacy pieces, benchmarking all the way to global economics, farms or commodity marketing, farm service agency programming, crop insurance programming, farm accounting practices, nutrient management planning, conservation and climate smart practices are just to name a few. And those programs are ever evolving. We also have, as Keith mentioned, family farms have many dynamics, and that impacts student needs. Successful business transitions are ever challenging. Transitioning generations, off-farm obligations and support, it's very rare that we aren't serving a farm that has somebody, a spouse, maybe the farmer itself, working off-farm and having those demands and pulls every day, which adds another level of dynamics to the farm families we serve. Finding the experts to support our farms day to day is becoming ever more challenging, as if it's lenders, accountants, maybe it's your agronomist. They're just an ever-evolving seat that often the FBM instructor is the one mainstay on farms at that advising table. Another piece of what is also challenging is, I actually look at it as opportunities. We have the 3 R's, retention, replacement, and recruitment of our instructors is very critical and really a challenging piece that can become an opportunity. Navigating the faculty of Minnesota Farm Business Management is certainly part of Keith and I's role and an ever-evolving piece of the puzzle. The unique programming that's critical to educate on our college campuses. Our farm business management educators are not housed on campus, so it's very critical that we educate for what they're doing on farm and turn that around to our higher ed admins as far as what that means for their college. Consumers are changing on farms for the better, but it certainly takes extra efforts as they want full transparency. Our farms are willing and able, but they need that extra help. So that's another piece of our role as educators that continues to evolve over time and just the ever-changing dynamics. If you think back to the three-legged stool that I referenced earlier, what should be labeled across the top of that seat is the FBM Challenge Grant. And I want to thank you for that work because it truly is, that was a changing point for me in my profession. As I started off, we didn't have a future. There were so many uncertainties, and we spent a lot of time talking about how are we going to bridge that gap between the uniqueness of Minnesota FBM and our college needs and the budget side of things. The MILSI Challenge Grant really offers that opportunity to allow FBM instructors to take care of their students and the college that they serve. And the great part of this program is the accountability that it holds to all the partners. The parameters that are included in this program really offer a lot of great opportunities to the instructor, the college, the student, all the partners that are involved. So I want to continue to offer thanks for that piece that is working really well and a key to our success in Minnesota FBM. I also was going to focus a little bit as I continue to wear the role of an FBM instructor. We'll also hear from another instructor today, but FBM education is very seasonal. Right now we're in the heat of the battle as financials, income taxes, everything is being prepared, and things start to surface when you're wearing that hat. We've heard a lot today that we are certainly in a reduced profitability environment on farm. Interest expense reality is hitting, and it's a first for some of our beginning farmers. Input expenses are minimizing our profit margins, which spiralizes into ag industry. And I'll give an example of that in limited time here. The first week of January, I spoke to an agronomist at one of the local co-ops, and I said, well, how are things going? And he said, normally at this time of year, I am 90% sold on seed and other inputs through the co-op. And this year, it was only 45%. So the challenges were certainly starting to surface at a much earlier time, and our instructors are definitely dealing and navigating with that as cash flows are certainly not in the direction we want them to be. There's also a lot of uncertainty for many farm operations. As I mentioned, some farmers, if there's farms I've worked with for 10 years, they've never seen interest rates at this level, so it's certainly uncharted territory for them as they navigate their business forward. And then our diversified farms are certainly handling and navigating the situation a little bit more stronger than our crop farms right now, which is the positive in everything that's going on. I also want to focus on farm transition stresses, which is very real. The barriers are so overwhelming for many of our farms, and I probably see it in almost every farm I come into contact with as either the incoming generation or the outcoming generation is concerned about how they're going to transition, not just the farm business, but the legacy that they're trying to preserve. So coming back to the farm continues to be obstacles all around. Planning is often delayed and they don't know where to start. There's many barriers. So farm transition stresses reach us all. Again, that also ties to the lack of experts that maybe isn't available to our rural areas as they need to work through a farm transition. We have an accountant, a lawyer, that's all involved, and you want to have that relationship with those people that are helping you navigate these real serious issues, and sometimes that is very lax. And from our instructor side of things, more time is spent, I feel, as that mental health piece. You hear a lot of what are the issues that they navigate through. Farming is very isolating, and oftentimes our instructors are there and just that breath of fresh air. I just wanted to touch base on the 3 things that have evolved with many farms that I've come into contact with. They're concerned about workforce. If it's in a rural area and maybe they're competing for chore help with the local Quick Trip, it's hard to compete, come out in the cold, milk some cows for the same price you can get working at Quick Trip. It's real. A lot of people are churning to retired farmers as their truck drivers, their tractor drivers, whatever it may be, because there's just no one else to turn to. The economics we mentioned and the reduced profitability environment continues to be a huge concern. And then the transitioning piece also evolves once again as a top concern for our farmers today. With that, I will address any questions you guys may have, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rada. Ms. LeBrun. Any questions or comments for these 2 testifiers? Okay, great. Ms. Schwegel, Mr. Rada, if you would please come up to the desk. State your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
I'm up first? Okay. Greetings again. Chair Putnam and members, thank you again for the opportunity to be here today. For the record, my name is Ann Schwegel. I am here both as a farmer and representing Minnesota Farmers Union. Both from my personal experience and on behalf of Minnesota Farmers Union, I want to share my strong support for Senator Kupec's bill, SF 1178, to increase the state's support for farm business management. Many of our members use and benefit from this program to make their farms more economically resilient. Since 2014, my farm has been enrolled in farm business management through the Midwest campus. We've benefited from the one-on-one student-led instruction in different ways as our farm has grown, weathered economic challenges, and found stability. In the early years of my enrollment, the farm was in a major period of transition. We were beginning farmers, embarking on a path towards transitioning some of our acreage to organic production on relatively few acres. Keep in mind, this was during that big circled sharp down spike that Keith Olander showed earlier, and margins were incredibly tight. Despite those challenges, we still wanted to be creative and find our competitive edge through innovation. We were able to use the tools of farm business management to create cash flows, know our exact break even, and evaluate profitability of any potential new enterprises on the farm. I was then equipped with a business plan, prepared and laid out for when I went to my lender for credit on new purchases or our annual operating loans. For the first several years of my farming career, we qualified for the Beginning Farmer FBM scholarship program, which helped offset our tuition costs. This program made the tuition costs affordable while we were beginning a career and had a new family. Similarly, we have since utilized scholarships to keep the cost of FBM tuition affordable through the Minnesota Ag Water Quality Certification Program. In the last few years, our instruction has shifted, while keeping a close eye on the farm's financial position. These days, we work closely with our instructor on the generational farm transfer between my father-in-law and my husband and myself. As you are well aware, the average age of our state's farmers continues to rise, and having resources readily available through FBM has been invaluable to both younger producers and retiring producers as they navigate the complex set of implications of generational farm transfer. Supporting faculty with expertise in farm transition planning can help new and emerging farmers start on their careers, as well as help families navigate generational farm transfer. That's a win not just for our families, but also for rural communities that benefit from having more farmers on the land. On behalf of myself and Farmers Union, thank you in advance for your support of this important program, and thank you to Senator Kupec for your leadership here. I'll be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Schwegel. Any questions for Ms. Schwegel? Comments? Great. Mr. Rada, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Putnam, Senator Kupec, and members of the committee. Thank you for this chance. I'm Zach Rada. I'm a farm business management instructor out of the Wilmer area. I work with 60 or 65 farms and draw a circle around 40 miles around Wilmer, and that would catch most of them. And so in my work, I work with all kinds of farms. I always say I'm really fortunate that I get to work in the Wilmer area because I get to work with a little bit of everything. I get to work with dairy farms, all different kinds of crops, beef, a little bit of hogs. And so I always enjoy the area that I get to work in. And I want to give you my elevator speech. What exactly is farm business management? What do we do? I teach farmers more about the business aspect of their business. I am kind of like your general family doctor of farm management, that I dabble in a little bit of everything, but don't necessarily specialize in things. I'm not an agronomist. They still need an agronomist. They still need a vet. They still need an accountant to do their taxes. But I help them get organized for some of those things. And that's my job. I'm kind of your general family doctor of farm management. So for a moment, I'm going to act like you are a student that I'm trying to recruit into my program. So why would you join farm business management? What are the reasons for it? And the bread and butter of our program is accurate records. Make sure you got a system set up that you're comfortable with, and we help you, teach you what you need to enter into that. And it's not just for tax preparation. Within it, it's just to do records for tax preparation, frankly, is easy. But I don't need you to break it out I need you to break out what is seed, but then between each of your individual enterprises that you have, and help you learn how to read those statements. How do you get through that? That is part of the bread and butter of our program. Then we take that information and we put it into, as been talked about, the FinPac program, where we analyze, right now, busy analyzing 2024. What happened in 24? Did you make money in 2024? And furthermore, overall farm, we look at the whole farm side of it, but then we get into each individual enterprise. What worked? What did not work? Why? What happened? And so is there areas where you're spending money in? And I'm starting to see some really definitive things in working with farms that profitability isn't out producing or outselling your neighbors, it's managing your expenses. That is a key in managing your debt load. And so helping them, so with that, then part of our program is helping them if there's going to be if they're looking at a new enterprise, if they're thinking about getting into something, getting out of something, let's run those plans. Let's make that plan to see how that would work. Is that something wise to do? So right now we're analyzing 2024, how did that turn out, and making plans for 2025. And so some of that is helping them so that they can turn something into their lender, but frankly it's a mistake if you're only doing a cash flow, planning 2025 for your lender. And if you're not using it for yourself, I think that's a giant mistake. It's a budget tool, and it's a way we need to learn what we can and can't do. If it's going to be a rough year, how can we minimize the rough? What price can we sell at that, if it's going to be at a loss, that makes that a manageable number? So how can we help teach you what you need through that? And as been mentioned, we help with marketing, transition planning, estate planning, those kinds of things, tax management. Grants, lots of grants, especially through the Department of Ag, with the Rural Finance Authority, helping with some of those loans, fulfill those requirements with RFA and with Farm Service Agency, FSA. I like that we're a non-biased source, so I have nothing to gain, so I can be someone they can ask questions to, and I just want to help. That's my goal, and help in the good and bad times. And as you saw Keith's charts, the decisions that farms made in those really high, those upswings, are what's going to dictate how they manage those low times. And I'm kind of that nagging voice in the back of their head. Are you sure? And is that a good idea? And so sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. So helping them make sure, teaching them if we do this, what does that mean? what does that mean in the outcome? Long-term, how does this look? And that's something I like to do. And so right now, it's been talked about having some very difficult discussions as farms are, especially in the crop side, are struggling. I have a few farms that, frankly, it doesn't look like they're gonna make it, and we're gonna try and figure out how to gently exit. And I'm thankful that I get to work with them and try and help them through that. So unfortunately, weather has been hard on some farms, really hard on some, and they have not had good years the last couple of years, and so we're looking at a way, how are we gonna, what do we do next? And so I'm thankful that Minnesota has a program like Farm Business Management to at least these families have somebody to turn to, that I'm there and we can run some of them. I'm telling my wife I'm spending more time revisiting cash flows this year than I can recall. That I bet at least in the past, usually I kind of we get their stuff wrapped up, that they've got what they need, and then we let it sit for a couple of months and we revisit maybe in March or April. And this year, I bet at least a third of them, we're coming back and revisiting because we got to do something. We can't go forward like this, and so I'm glad that Minnesota has a program that I've got lots of excellent colleagues that can help families. They have somebody to talk to. We can put some pencil to paper and what happens if we do these certain things. And so I'm thankful that we have this. And so thank you. The challenge grants, I've been at this for 19 years and went through all of that when we were really struggling through and when the challenge grants were passed. And quite frankly, I think without the challenge grant, I'm nearly certain I would not be sitting here today. I would be doing something different. So that was critical. Thank you to those that were instrumental in helping pass that originally, and thank you for your continued support for that. So,
Thanks, Mr. Rada. Any questions for our testifier? Comments? All right, seeing none. Thank you for your work and for your testimony. We're going to close out the day with Mr. Peterson. I'd like to talk to this a little bit. If you could, please, Mr. Peterson, state your full name for the record. Commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. For the record, Hunter Peterson, Minnesota Farm Bureau, and Mr. Rod is going to be a tough act to follow on this one. The bills includes the whole AGREETT program, and I do want to express Farm Bureau support for the program as a whole, but I am going to focus my comments on the Farm Business Management program. It's a program that truly improves farmers' business skills, and it saves family farms. Just last week, I was talking with a member of ours who is a farm business management instructor, and she told me that right now she's working with 50 farms. She can make 5 of them cash flow. And I think that really illustrates how tough times are for farmers right now. And with that, obviously for farm families comes a lot of stress and difficult times. And I bring this up because I think for farm business management instructors, they do amazing work, but they're human like the rest of us. And they take on that emotional toll and that stress that the farms they're working with also have. And so ensuring that they have a reasonable workload, which increased funding would help with, I think that's key to managing the stress of the job and preventing burnout. Stability and longevity for FBM faculty ultimately is going to keep the program strong and preserve more family farms in Minnesota. So thank you, Senator Kupec, for bringing the bill forward. And thank you, Mr. Chair, for hearing the bill. And I ask for the committee's support.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Any questions for Mr. Peterson? Senator Dames.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's not a question but a comment. But if we take a look at what's happening in the ag world right now, we're coming into some pretty tough times again. And if we look the last 10 years, this is probably the most the farm business management people are going to be needed is at this point because of the changes we're seeing in the agricultural economy. So this is a time we probably want to make sure we get this bill funded so that you folks can do your jobs, because the end result by not having farm business managers or having less of them out there is going to make it much more of a struggle for the folks to make those decisions. And in some cases, Zach said, the decisions are going to be made and they're going to have to work out of it. And they need your support to do that. If they're going to be able to remain in it, they need your support to help them make some of those decisions that sometimes are pretty hard to make because your feelings get involved too much versus your financial sense. So sometimes it just helps to have that extra person there. So this is a time we need to step up and fund this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Dames. And apropos of Mr. Peterson's comment, the AGREETT bill as a whole is a pretty large thing. It's complicated. There's lots of stuff in it. The only thing that we're changing in this version of it, so there's three reasons why we are discussing FBM specifically in the context of this larger bill. The first is this is the only area that is changed significantly since prior appropriations to AGREETT. And the change is that we want to put a lot more money into this program. That's reason one. Reason two is because this is important to farmers, and reason three is that this is important to me. That's why we focused on this issue today. Members, questions, comments to the bill as a whole for the bill's author or for anyone else who's in the room? Seeing none, Senator Kupec. Final statement.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you also for being on this bill. Thank you, Senator Dames, also for your support on this. I think today's kind of, if you want to call them a suite of bills, really kind of talks about where we're going in agriculture in Minnesota with the innovation, but also with programs like the AGREETT and particularly with the farm business management, making sure that we're looking out for our existing farms and that they, are able to utilize sound business practices and get a little advice when they need them to help them through those times that are inevitable within the farm economy, that there'll be some downtimes. And so this is great. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Kupec. Senate File 1178 will be held over for possible inclusion. Folks, I agree with Senator Kupec. I thought today was a great day. We got to talk about some really fascinating things happening in Minnesota agriculture. It was great to hear from so many people and their personal experiences and their takes on things that are important to all of us. Coming up on Monday, we're going to have a conversation, kind of an educational conversation, a diagnostic one, about the relationship between state agricultural funding and federal agricultural funding. The first half of that discussion, I hope, will be diagnostic, where we get a little bit more understanding of who pays for what. And the second half, perhaps, we will talk about potential challenges we face as we look forward to how we are going to fund Minnesota agriculture. So thanks very much, folks. There being no further business, we are adjourned.